Okay, so welcome to a live stream. We haven't done one in a while. Yeah, it's good to have France with us, all the way in Ireland, South African expat, um, and yeah, someone that we thought would be interesting to speak to, especially from we haven't been able to speak to someone that's in MMA yet, so this is really something new and exciting. Um, so,
Nice.
so yeah, thanks for making time for us. We appreciate it.
It's an honor.
Thanks, Frans.
I thank you guys for getting me on. It's gonna be a good one. I'm looking forward to the talk.
So yeah, you started off, you're fighting in Bellator at the moment, correct?
Yes, sir.
Um, so yeah, you've got a MMA background from South Africa, from Johannesburg, somewhere in Johannesburg.
I'm from Alexandria.
Okay,
That's where I was born. But I spent like a good bit of my time in Sandslut, where my mom's from,
okay.
and yeah, so I used to go back and forth to there. No, what's it? Sorry, it's not Sandslut. I'm getting confused here.
Deep Fluid.
Deep good.
Deep Slut, yeah, that's
Yes,
the
Yeah.
one. I knew that didn't sound right. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, now you're based in Ireland,
Yeah.
and you're fighting out of probably one of the biggest and best places to be fighting out of if you in MMA.
Yeah.
SBG.
Tell me what your reasons for saying that.
Well,
Obviously the Black Mamba. That's why.
All right, now. All right. Nice one. Let's testing the waters.
Well, yeah,
Nice.
I obviously the most famous one out of there so
Yeah.
far is Conor McGregor and that.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Yeah.
And yeah, obviously you're under John Kavanagh as well now, so
Yeah.
um, yeah, having such esteemed coach and that must also be quite helpful. Someone that's knows the ropes pretty well.
Yeah. 100%. Like I started MMA in SPG. You know what I mean? So, because originally, like, I was a karate guy. You know, when I was in South Africa, I started karate there, and then moved on to boxing. Then when I got to Ireland, done that for a few years, and that just our boxing and the politics in there like just kind of put me off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was always kind of a martial arts guy, even though boxing was kind of going well for me. Um, I just kind of drifted more towards like the martial arts side of it, and when I found MMA, then it was just it just felt like home. Like my friend brought me down to the gym actually, and I'd done like one class there, and I was like, this is it. No need for boxing no more. Even though I'm kind of like I'm a boxer, that's my background. Um, Martial arts is more my thing, really. That's what I've always wanted to kind of do. You know what I mean? Because when I was a kid, like doing karate and stuff like that, I actually wanted to be like an action kind of star. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to love all them Asian like movies. Even like what's it? Like I used to watch Jackie Chan,
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee. Yeah.
Ah,
Jet Li used to be
Bruce
my
Lee.
favorite. Um, Van Damme. I used to watch all that stuff. You know what I mean? And that's why I kind of. That was my aspirations at the time, and then obviously as you grow and as different opportunities open up, you take them, and MMA was the biggest one, and I just hopped right onto that. And yeah, obviously like I started MMA in SPG, went in there, I got thrown right in with the big boys because I had the striking background, and so yeah, I've been there since, and it's been a good journey. It's been an uphill journey. You know what I mean? I've tripped and stumbled a few times, but you know, we'll put our faith in the Lord, see what happens in the future.
Yeah, man. You talk about the politics in boxing. Are you maybe referring to the promotion side, or are you referring to maybe the judging side?
It's both. It's literally everything. Like I used to like boxing was good. I just kind of was naturally good at boxing. Like you know what I mean? Because it was never really my plan to do boxing initially. And then once I started doing it, and I was like, actually, I think I might make something out of this. I kind of fell in because I was doing boxing for about maybe 5 years. I got into the Irish national team. I was fighting with them for a
Okay.
while, and then I was like, I think I might try out for the Olympics, and then I got injured just before, like the qualifiers and all were happening, and then I would actually had to wait. So I was just like, here, forget about this. It's not worth the wait. And then I took like a year off, not on purpose, just because I was sick of boxing, didn't have anywhere else to go. I wasn't going to go back to karate, so I ended up going to the MMA gym then, and then that was it from there. But yeah, Irish boxing politics, it's kind of like everywhere. Like I'm even hearing, like I don't really tune into boxing too much, simply just because I don't really have the channels to be watching it. Like it's not like on purpose or whatever. Like I don't really watch much boxing, but I still hear stuff like even in the Olympics there's corruption and stuff like that. It just kind of seems to be within the veins of boxing in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you, we were discussing before the stream started what it's like trying to train under lockdown with the gyms being closed, especially for MMA being so close contact. I'm sure it's, you don't know whether someone's caught something, then you're going to grapple with them. Obviously, high chance of catching it. How are you and your colleagues in Bellator dealing with that? I mean, you mentioned there's a field close to you. Do you guys sort of get together? And is it tough training sort of combat in this coronavirus lockdown situation?
Yeah, no, like I literally since this whole thing started, like I haven't seen a single person from the gym. I haven't like really like we talked a few times like with a few different people like here and there, but I haven't seen anybody. Haven't really had any physical contact with anybody. The only bit of training I was doing was just with my little brother, like Kenny McConwana. He does MMA as well, so and he's a big guy. You know what I mean? So I used him like, and the crazy thing is, right? I posted something on my Instagram there a little while ago of me and him sparring, and nobody actually know because I didn't say it, but that was literally the second ever sparring session between the two of us. You know what I mean? Like he's an accomplished MMA fighter. He's like a four, like he has like 4 belts. He's holding them right now. Like he's doing very, very good. Like, and then obviously I'm doing my own thing with training different gyms and stuff like that. He kind of went his own path with the whole thing, even though, like, you know what I mean, he gets a bit of advice from Big Bro every now and then, but he's doing good. And so since this whole thing happened, it was perfect opportunity because I couldn't do it anything else. I was like, bro, like this is our chance. And we went over there. We done a few sessions, and so a few good things have come out of this here lockdown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and one of the things I wanted to know about was like, just from your camps and that, like for the fights you've had before, a lot of time we hear like how difficult it is cutting weight, and obviously losing a lot of that mass, the water mass, or that excess weight before big fights and that. Like for you personally, what's that like? Do you have to cut a lot of weight? What weight do you normally sit at?
Yeah, I usually like. It's weird because I have like a weight cap, right? I get to like 72, and it feels like it's impossible for me to get any heavier. It doesn't matter what I do. You know what I mean? I could be 72, and I could sit here for like a whole feast. You know what I mean? And I'd probably just fluctuate to like 72 point something and just go back down. I don't know why my body just doesn't let me get any heavier for some reason. But I've been weight cutting so much, like even since my boxing days. Like I started boxing when I was 15, doing a bit of weight cuts there, and I think I just kind of understood my body. But then since then, I obviously transitioned to an all plant diet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I'd say I'm more of like an extreme vegetarian really than a vegan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's what I've been doing for maybe like 5-6 years now, and like it just weight cutting to me is just does not seem as bad to me as it does to other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I can do it no problem. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's not fun, and I would rather not do it if I had to. But like, I find it way easier than most people do because I dropped from 72 to 61, obviously, and I'm fine. Like I can still do things, you know what I mean, the night before weigh-ins. I can eat. I know how to work with my body, and I think it's definitely based on the plant-based diet. It's definitely helped me, with that, and yeah, I'm kind of losing track of where I'm going with this. So you guys take over there.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. So last weekend we saw some fighting, actually some live sport for the first time in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I think for once, because there was such a drought of live sport, we had more people than usual watching UFC 249. The arena was obviously empty, which brings a different aspect to it. I remember from watching Ultimate Fighter, where there's not much of a crowd, where you could actually hear the punches and the kicks making contact. I think it gave a lot of people a new respect to actually hear the damage that goes on.
Yeah.
What do you think it would be like fighting in an empty arena? Is it on one hand you could concentrate, get in the zone, and on the other hand you can't get really G'd up by the crowd if it's on your side? So maybe equaling the playing fields. What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's funny because I was actually only talking to a friend of mine yesterday who was asking me about all this. But I don't know. I think it's more of a personal thing, really. It just depends on the fighter. You know what I mean? Because I personally don't think it affected me that much. You know what I'm saying? I've been in different types of fighting situations. You know what I mean? Even on the night of the fights there on the weekend, a guy was saying he was in the Ultimate Fighter, so he's kind of used to it from there. I've been in the IMFs where it's just it takes you totally out of your comfort zone, and as a fighter, you need to adapt to these things. So if the lack of a crowd is going to affect your game too much, I don't know, maybe you need to change a few things, but I don't think it should. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's kind of strange and stuff for the fans. Obviously, even me watching the UFC was kind of weird, not hearing the crowd and all. But at the same time, it was good. It gave me hope in any way that the sport can continue through all this madness. You know what I mean? And that was obviously an example of what can be done and what they continue to do. So I was all up for that. I don't think the crowd is too much of a hindrance. You know what I mean? Not to me in any way. I don't know about how other people would feel about that.
And speaking of that, obviously you and Bellator on that. Have they said anything like when Bellator is going to return? Do you know when your next bout may take place or anything?
No. I haven't had any. Nobody called me anything and gave me any offers. But I did. I think there is a Bellator show on in May. Oh wait, no, that was meant to be May 5th. Okay. Obviously, that didn't happen actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what actually happened with that because they brought a card out. They were like, "This is going down," and I actually haven't heard about it since.
Okay.
I actually forgot to check up on that because that's way gone. That's gone. So I don't know. I don't know actually if it was May 5th or it was a different date in May. But I heard there was something going to go on because I know Brian Moore was meant to be fighting Dominic Wooden on that card. I don't know if the date was changed or what happened with that. I haven't seen that about it since. But yeah, I haven't heard anything in any way. But hopefully something happens soon. But I got a bit of an excitement there yesterday. Some dude made a little poster of the bantamweight Grand Prix for Bellator because the belt is vacant now. I got super excited. It wasn't initially I thought Bellator had brought the thing out, and so I got shivers and everything. And then I looked closely and it wasn't so. But hopefully that manifests into a real thing. That'd be pretty awesome. That'd be a great opportunity for all of us in the weight division.
Because it is vacant your category now, hey?
Exactly, yeah. For a while now as well.
Okay. So I guess that's what you aspiring to is to.
Of course.
So, is that the aspiration? Is it, or do you? What is the aspiration? How far do you want to take this?
$1 million is definitely one of the aspirations. I can do that for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But here, you know what? Things I keep making plans and stuff, and it's just not working out the way I plan. You know what I mean? I'm getting great opportunities, great things are happening to me, but at the same time, like every time I get like a massive opportunity, it just kind of fizzles out, and I don't understand it because I'm working so hard to get where I'm going. But at the same time, that's the exact same thing the other fighters could have, like they could say. I mean, like I had a world championship fight a few years ago with Brave, and that was a great opportunity for me. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, finally we're here. You know what I mean? We've been working all these years, and then I lost that. It was a good hard fight. Lost that one. I was like, right, we'll start off again. And then Ricky Banderas came around. Great opportunity. Well ranked guy, and I was like, this. I don't see this guy beat me. You know what I mean? First round comes on. I was like, oh, shoot, we have this in the bag, boys. And then flipping, you know what I mean? You make a mistake, a silly mistake, and then you know what I mean. Your whole world is just crushed, which is crazy. But you know what I mean. I just came to a point now where I'm like, you know, I can plan things however way I want, but I'm just gonna work hard and just let things happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna like I'm a man of faith. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna put whatever happens in the hands of God, because obviously my plans aren't working out, or I don't know if they're the wrong plans or whatever. But I'm just gonna just go with the flow, really, from now on.
Yeah. And Frans, talk us through just before a fight. Do you have any idiosyncrasies, any rituals, anything quirky that you do? Perhaps something that you eat every time, superstitions that you have, anything like that?
No, sir. All I do is I
Okay.
pray. What I do is just before I walk out, I get on my knees no matter where I am, and I say a little prayer. Not only for me, I don't like, oh, please, like, destroy my enemies and stuff like that. That's not how it is. You know what I mean? I pray for the crowd. I pray for my opponent. I pray for the safety of everybody in the place. And if there's any type of ritual I have, that's it. I don't really have anything else. I have a warm up that I do literally before I start everything, but that's like the closest thing to a ritual, because this warm up is like the exact same it's been for years, and I do it literally every time I start training, fighting, everything, anything I'm doing active to do with training or whatever. I do this certain warm up, but I think it's more of like a habit than a ritual. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
if that answers your question.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because watching your fights, you have an incredibly calm demeanor. Is that something that you focus on, staying calm, so that you can put into practice what you've learned and your game plan, or is it something natural? Obviously, you give a prayer before you go out, so you putting it into God's hands. Does that help you calm down, perhaps, with your demeanor during the match?
To be honest, I just think it's my personality. You know what I mean? Like, it comes with its goods and it comes with its bad, like, stuff. My girlfriend hates it for one. Not always, but because she's like real anxious. But sometimes I think I'm like too chilled out for my own good. You know what I mean? Like, there's been a few times in fights where I actually need to hype myself up, because when I'm like too confident going into a fight, just too chill, because I get like that. You know what I mean? I literally just sometimes I forget I'm fighting until I'm like walking out. And I'm like, oh shit, right, it's time to get down to business. I think I'm just too chill sometimes, you know what I mean? I don't know where I get that from. I love it sometimes, but sometimes I really do actually need to like hype myself up. But I think that's kind of based on like the fact that I've just been fighting for so long, you know what I mean? And I've kind of I've been to like a high enough level in every sport I did, like since boxing, that is, because I got onto the national team in amateur boxing. I got onto the national team in kickboxing and in MMA as well. You know what I mean? So I've just been fighting for so long. But at the same time, I know people that's been fighting just as long as me, and they be getting nervous and stuff like that. But I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, I perform my best when I'm like super nervous. You know what I mean? So I suppose in that way, my calm demeanor could sometimes work against me.
And I saw one of the videos of you pop up with you sparring with Conor McGregor and that for one of his camps and that. but do you think that helped you to learn a lot as well from sparring with someone like him at the height of his game?
Yeah, well, 100%, like 100%. But at the same time, like I was saying, when I started like MMA, I didn't know anything about the local MMA scene. Like, you know what I mean? I was only watching the UFC back then, and I didn't know anything at all about MMA like in Ireland at all. You know what I mean? So when I went in there, all the guys were big. My friend that was training there for a while, he was telling me, he's like, oh yeah, like this guy and that's that. But I didn't really care about all that. And I was sparring with Connor from basically the first maybe month I was there. You know what I'm saying? I was there for like a month, and then I was thrown in there with the big guys because then obviously word got around that I was a pretty accomplished striker. So yeah, I was been sparring like Connor, like James Gallagher, Paddy Houlihan back in the day as well, Brian Moore, you know what I mean? Like Kiefer, all the big boys in SBG. I've been like working closely with them from since like everything blew up, you know what I mean? Even with Connor, since before everything blew up with him, I was already training with him. So by the time he was big and everything, it was already like it was already normal to me, like sparring. You know what I mean? Like I've learned a lot from him, and it'd be it'd be weird to think that I didn't contribute somewhat to the training, like anybody did that you'd work with. You know what I mean? Like every training partner gives you a bit of something. And you take, you know what I mean. You take and you give from every training partner, and yeah, not much to say about that.
Yeah, Frans, there's been quite a few guys coming out prominently from Africa recently. Osman, Adesanya, Ngannou. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that it's just the general development carrying on in Africa? Do you think that Africans perhaps have a certain mentality or toughness that I'm sure when you get to that level of MMA, it's very mental. Do you think at that point they've just certain guys? I mean, I was listening to Ngannou on Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. I mean, just to hear what he went through growing up, that has to instill some sort of strength within you mentally.
100%. But at the same time, like I'm always rooting for South Africans. You know what I mean? Like these guys are doing awesome, and I love all them guys in the like representing Africa in general. But I'd love to see a South African in there. I was absolutely elated when I heard Don Madge was in South Africa was in the UFC because he is gonna tear through people. You know what I mean? So I'm watching him closely, and I'm waiting to see how his career goes on, and I want more South Africans in there. Obviously, the Nigerians are doing good right now, but Zanzi needs to get in there and tear some stuff up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, we had Ruan when there's space for you, and when Ruan Potts came through. Unfortunately, when Ruan Potts went through, it didn't end too well for him. We had high hopes for him, but
that's the thing. Yeah, because we had like 1 or 2 or 3 maybe South Africans in there, and it was rooting sitting at the end of my chair, and it just fizzled out every single time. Obviously, we have a bit of hope here with the Magic Man, but we'll see what happens.
And we've spoken about the disciplines that you've gone through and you've represented Ireland and that. But like, what is your preferred disciplines? Is it like kickboxing? Is it Muay Thai? What do you enjoy doing the most? Kind of?
You know what? People usually call me a boxer because of my boxing background. I've done boxing for ages before, and and I still have the roots of boxing. You know what I mean? I think my whole game is kind of built around boxing, but I kind of see myself more of like a striker than just a boxer. You know what I mean? And but I'm developing a lot in jiu-jitsu and wrestling and stuff like that. I'm really working hard on them aspects of my game because they've been they've been tested a few times, and I really need to continue to work on that. But I've been working on it, and it's promising. Like, you know what I mean? I have a few submissions already, which is crazy if you would have like like sometimes I get a bit of slack in when I go back to SBG. They're like, "Oh, Francis is doing submissions and all now." You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like it's crazy. People kind of take that part of my game for granted. You know what I'm saying?
You can use that to your advantage, I'm sure,
That's the
because they're not
thing.
expecting it.
Exactly, and I think every time I've gotten a submission, it was kind of that people like my opponent taking my submission game for granted, and then I capitalized on the opportunity. But that's MMA, isn't it? Like you're gonna take whatever comes. But yeah, no, I'm working on everything. But mainly I'm definitely a striker.
Yeah, like you say, you've got to have that holistic game. You've got to be able to do a bit of everything to be
100%,
a competent fighter.
100%.
Is there anyone like who you admire in the MMA? Obviously, like you said, you started off with boxing first, and that. But obviously, when you got into the MMA scene and that, was there anyone you started to see like I want to be like this guy or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, initially, obviously, it was Anderson Silva was just unbelievable. Like the things he was doing was just crazy. You know what I mean? And obviously, John Jones came around, but then he's kind of I don't know what's going on with him. Like, but as a fighter, he is just like unbelievable. You know what I mean? And so yeah, it'd be people like that, and obviously all the old school guys. But I'm more kind of into the flashy kind of fighters, and I don't know why, right? I actually don't know why, but from the very start, I've always really admired Max Holloway, and his whole style. You know what I mean? And Cruz as well. I love Cruz. You know what I mean? And obviously it didn't work out for him there in the on the weekend, but I was really I kind of. I put a lot of what he does into my game. Well, tried in anyways. You know what I mean? Even with the switch stances, the way he moves and stuff like that, I tried to implement a bit of that because I kind of feel like I have that same kind of style. You know what I mean? So I kind of think I drift more towards fighters. I feel like I can emulate more closely. You know what I mean? Obviously, like when I'm training, I do some crazy stuff. Like I said, I'm a martial artist. You know what I mean? I like to do all that kind of stuff. But then when I get into a ring and there's a few things at stake, I get too cautious. You know what I'm saying? I would love to be more free because I feel like if I brought that out, I'd be more of a dangerous fighter. But I don't know. Something needs to click in my head for me to just be more free. Like, even know what I'm saying? Remember I was saying I'm all calm and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there is still a few things kind of holding me back. I'm a bit cautious when it comes to some things where I think it could work to my advantage to kind of let loose a bit. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Hopefully that works out.
Yeah.
And yeah, if we're looking in hypotheticals and that, just at some possible fights coming up in the UFC and that, there's been talk of Masvidal versus McGregor, which would be quite the fight. And yeah, I've seen John Jones calling out Francis Ngannou
What?
the last day or so. But like what do you think would happen in a fight like that? Because that's like two titans clashing.
Yeah. I don't know. I never even conceived that in my head. So just hearing it, like I'd have to process it first. You know what I'm saying? I'd have to sit down and think about it because just there the weekend, like I watched the fights and I was texting some of my guys. I was like, I'm trying to compute in my head why in the world anybody would call out Francis Ngannou. You know what I mean? Like, why would you actually do that? You know what I mean? You obviously have to fight somebody like that when you have to. I mean, as a last resort. You know what I mean? When you got to put food on the table, you don't call him out. Yeah. But John Jones is a different type of animal as well. You know what I mean? He's so talented that he just needs to keep proving himself like that. And obviously, looking around, that's what. Like, if that does happen, and I don't know, that'd be crazy. I don't know. I have no comments on that because I haven't really processed it, and I don't want to right now.
Yeah.
So.
Fran, something I wanted to ask you as a fighter is like you were talking about things not working out for Cruz this weekend. Is that something you can do? And is that speak to the ref before the fight and say, don't stop it? I don't know what Cruz told the ref before that. Don't stop it if I'm trying to get back up or something to that effect. Do you think it was an early stoppage for that Cejudo Cruz fight?
It's an interesting one. You know why? Because nearly the exact same thing happened to me. You know what I mean? And looking at how my last fight went, it is very similar to how that went. Not obviously the exact same, but it's similar. Because like he was out for a little while. You know what I mean?
He was leaning on his head.
He was leaning on his head. Exactly. You know what I mean? There was a few unanswered shots where the ref could have stopped it, but then what the ref did, he kind of just let that happen, and then just when he was getting up, he stopped it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm kind of saying? And I exactly. You know what I mean? So in that way, you're kind of snapping because you're like, you could have went down. Obviously, he definitely, I think he was out. You know what I mean? But like he was getting up at the same time, so it's putting the ref like in a rock and a hard place. You know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, you were out. Footage shows that you were out, but at the same time, you were getting up. You know what I mean? And that's the exact same thing that happened to me, I feel, in my last fight. Because I got hit, I dropped, but then as soon, like, as I hit the canvas, basically, I was getting up. But it was too late at that stage. You know what I mean? But at the time, I was like, I'm getting up. What are you stopping it for? You know what I mean? I'm still able to fight. But, like, the refs always tell you, they're like, here, you get in trouble, we will stop it. You know what I mean? They warn us. You're warned at every time before you go into the cage. The refs will tell you, they're like, here, guys, we are only here for your protection. So if you feel like you're not protecting yourself and you're in harm, like we're gonna stop it. You know what I mean? Obviously, as a fighter, you need to not let that happen. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Obviously, crazy things happen. Like, for example, right? I've been sparring Connor for how many years, right? That guy hits, he destroys people. Never once have I been like dropped or rocked by Connor. And he's hit me. He's tried to like literally knock my head off. He's hit me like plenty times. Never dropped, never rocked. And 2 weeks before that, I was sparring with Richie Kiley, who's a way bigger guy than me. He kicked me square in the chin. You know what I mean? Didn't do nothing to me. You know what I mean? All this time boxing and whatnot, I've never been robbed, never been dropped, nothing like that. Like Connor dropped me with a body kick. You know what I mean? That spinning back kick. He dropped me with that twice, I think, right? And so that's the only time I've kind of went down with that. But for me to be dropped there in my last fight, it just didn't make no sense to me. You know what I mean? And with just little short shots like that. So that's what I mean. It's a mad game, like, and real unexpected things happen in this game. So you can't call things like that. You know what I mean? And the refs are there to just make sure everybody's protected. And obviously, you're going to be unhappy. Like, I was very unhappy with how that went on with me. But at the same time, looking back at it, I was like, well, I understand from the ref's point of view and from everybody else's really point of view. And I think Cruz is a smart enough fighter to because even after the interview, he was like, right, fair enough, I was down, but I was getting up. But that the ref did that, then he kind of let him recover from that, you know, having his face on the mat for a few. And that just obviously that's just the brain kind of like processing things and seeing what goes on and shit. But refs are trying to protect us, so I'm going to one of my little rants again.
No. And I think another element to that story is I think Cruz came out and said no, he could smell the alcohol and things like that on the ref. So yeah, that's going into different sort of waters now, a little bit murky.
That's going into madness. That.
But like you say, the main thing for the ref is there is to ensure your safety, because
of course
there's two guys in there like willing to kill each other. The ref is the only person in there that's gonna save a life, basically.
100%.
So but in wrapping up, we just want to thank you for your time and this conversation and that. It's been interesting speaking to you and getting your perspective. And yeah, hopefully we keep seeing you rise up. The rankings rising up there. Hopefully that little bantamweight Grand
Oh,
Prix happens. That would be a great idea.
yeah,
Um,
100%.
and yeah, I can't wait to see you holding the belt.
Nice. Here, guys, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for reaching out. Don't hesitate to call back. You know what I mean? I always love to talk to somebody from home. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys, and yeah, you know what? I'm gonna try to not let you down again. But you know, shit
Thanks,
happens.
Frans.
You know what I mean? Shit happens.
And yeah, whenever I'm in Dublin next or Ireland, wherever you may be, I think you're in Dublin.
I'm in Dublin. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm in Dublin.
we'll meet up for a beer.
Mate, give me a call. I don't drink, boy.
Oh, that's fine.
I'll have a water.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. No doubt, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take you out for a meal or something.
Cheers.
All right.
Cheers,
Great.
Frans.